Alright everyone, I'm the Awesome Soul, and I am back with a video. This isn't your typical video though. So, it's finally happened. Free Jam has been hinting at this for a long while on their Twitter, and they finally made a post about it. Because, you know, GDC happened and they were busy at that. Anyways, so, as you can see on the screen, huge meta changes are coming to Robocraft. That's right, a complete overhaul and revamp of the gameplay. A few people that I've heard from seem to think this is like a Dota 2 League of Legends type thing. I'm more of a League of Legends guy myself. Anyways, yeah, so, huge changes are coming. So this video is just to sort of give my viewpoint on all these changes and what exactly is going to happen. Or if you haven't seen this post yourself, then I guess I'll read it off to you. So, huge changes are coming. We are undergoing an enormous, ground-shaking, pant-wetting changes to Robocraft metagame. And, since the changes are big, in bold letters, they seem to like their big bold letters a lot, as seen on Twitter, and will be released in 3 separate launches. We wanted to share them with you up front, so you can share the journey with us. How very polite of them. So, Robocraft Respawned, as they're kind of calling it. You'll see that down below later. Robocraft's current meta is a game where when you get killed, you're out, and in my opinion, that is kind of a pain. But it makes for quick gameplay. Anyways. Whether or not that's a good thing is kind of up to you. I'm sort of 50-50 on that. When you get killed, yeah, and we are changing this to when you get killed, you respawn until your team loses, which I think is a welcome change. So there you go, you've got your little respawn timer there. But they'll go into this a little bit more down below. The key fundamental change, and there is a lot more than simply respawning. But put simply, respawning provides the foundation for the rest of the new meta. To note, when you die, you'll wait in spectator mode for a period of time before respawning. Protonium crystals, as sort of like a... I guess they sort of fused plutonium and prototype together to make this portmanteau. Anyways. To win, your team needs to destroy the enemy's protonium crystals. The protonium mining rod is surrounded by a protonium crystal deposit, shaped like, oh god, I'm not even gonna bother, I'm just gonna butcher that. Anyways, protonium is a rare resource, is the rare source of power that the E14 and CF Alliance are fighting over on Mars elsewhere in the Milky Way. So there you go, you got your little mining rig. Basically, it's like a big arm sticking out of your regular spawning platform. And of course, it's going to go supernova when it's completely destroyed. So you probably wouldn't want to stick around for that. Although, hopefully it's not quite as powerful as a supernova, because then there'd be no maps to fight on. Fusion Shield. The Fusion Shield is a large dome that protects your protonium crystals. The Fusion Shield has some amazing properties. One being, everyone can drive through the shield, both allies and enemies alike. Allies can shoot through the shield, but enemies cannot. So you're basically safe within your shield, although once they drive in, then you're not safe. So you want to try and keep them outside the shield at all costs. Enemies can only damage the protonium crystals by getting inside the shield, so... But I believe there's something down below that will let you take down the shield. Anyways, allies inside the shield will constantly be automatically nano-healed. So that's interesting. So it's basically a big safe haven for anyone. Now, whether or not that healing is going to go down when your shield goes down, that's another thing entirely. Shields will automatically deactivate if the game is not completed within 15 minutes. So both teams' protonium crystals will become more vulnerable at this point. Next up we have fusion towers. This is a fusion tower, as you can clearly see in the picture. Fusion towers supply the power to the fusion shield. As I said before, this is basically how you take out the shield. It also feeds the team more clock cycles. Basically, if you've played League of Legends, it's the in-game leveling system. So that's not a persistent level. Every time you go into a new match, you start at level 0 or 1, however they decide to do it in the end. And you'll keep going up in levels, and you'll get certain perks for doing so. So the fusion towers are blue or red depending on the team who owns them. You can capture an enemy's tower by destroying the small deposits of protonium on the top of the tower. So it's like a little mushroom you want to destroy underneath the cap. Once destroyed, it will respawn in the color of the opposing team. So if you're blue and you're taking on a red tower, it'll turn blue once you've destroyed all the red protonium. The towers have a mushroom-like canopy to protect the protonium from long-range bombardments and rail attacks from high terrain points. Although there is a hole at the top for bombing runs, so that's still good. And here we go into overclocking. Actually, there was a little blurb here. So there are 4 fusion towers on the map, and they're known as top tower, bottom tower, left tower, and right tower. And now we are onto overclocking, which is probably the biggest meta change, in my humble opinion. So, a new widget on the bottom of the HUD will show the status, the new feature of the and the new feature called the overclocker, rather. This feature is simple, but a game changer. Indeed it is. So, as you do damage, get kills, assists, heal, scout, spot, and damage protonium on the battle, or in the battle, rather, you will gain a new type of points called clock cycles. As you gain clock cycles, the progress bar on the overclocker will increase. When you get to 100%, you will level up your overclocker. Each time you level up your overclocker, your robot will become more powerful, or rather your supercomputer, but we'll get into that down below. Your weapons will start doing more damage, your thrusters will deliver more thrust, your wheels will go faster, functional components will be buffed as well. This way, the endgame will be more exciting when attacking enemies' protonium crystals. This table shows just a couple examples of what they're planning. Obviously it's not final, and obviously they don't show every single part, but I won't go through all the numbers because it might take a while. So yeah, your clocker level looks like you start out at level 1, and then you go up to level 13 is the max level. At least currently, it seems. Again, this is all early in development, so I'm sure they're going to change some things. So if you have a small robot, i.e. low CPU, when you're damaging or killing a larger robot, you will gain more clock cycles based on the ratio. So that's kind of interesting. And possibly overpowered, because if you got like a little Flappy flying around, and it's getting some lucky shots in, just sort of picking off opponents that have been already damaged, then you're going to get some really powerful clock cycles going there. And I don't know, I'm sure they'll balance that out. So where was I? Oh yes. Similarly, if you're damaging or killing a robot of a higher overclock level and your lower overclock level, you will gain more clock cycles so you can catch up if you're behind. That makes sense. So yeah, here we go. There are 13 levels to gain normally. Sorry. Only the best players in the game will reach level 13 before the battle is over. Alright then. So that's interesting. So you're not always going to get max level. Players who have higher overclocker levels that get killed have to wait longer to respawn. So the early game will only take a few seconds to respawn, but the late game you will have to wait as long as 90 seconds. So that might... I don't know. I guess that's a decent amount of time. I mean, you can still watch the action in spectator mode. I guess it also makes sense that they say this is another mechanic that allows players who are behind to catch up. That's perfectly acceptable. It makes a lot of sense. So next up, my favorite part, these supercomputers. So I can sort of relate these to champions from League. I don't know exactly what they're called in Dota, but just champions. We'll just go with that. So these are replacing your human pilots for the gameplay reason that they're introducing the respawning system. So supercomputers, due to the loss of life in E14, they have decided to replace human pilots with advanced AI supercomputers, which now pilot the vehicles into battle. So, but one thing I have noticed, and nobody's really pointed this out yet, at least as far as I can tell, the little number on their chest says 7,500. So my theory is this is the CPU that the bot currently is either using, or maybe the player cap. So like once you hit level 100, you know, all that. That could be a possibility. I don't know. So once this sort of initial release comes out, you've got 3 planned. You've got Cray, which is more offensive, Jean, which is a medic, although one of its abilities sounds like you don't actually have to have nano disruptors to be a good medic, which is interesting. Yeah, but more on that, actually. You can probably read that, because it's on the page there. And Tyani, I think that's how you say it? Anyways, is more defense-focused. So you'll be able to choose these supercomputers, nicknamed SCUs. When they're launched, you will be able to unlock them all for free with tech points, any tier. Premium users will have them all unlocked all the time. Huh. So let me see here. You'll be able to unlock them all for free with tech points of any tier. Okay. Premium users will have them all unlocked all the time. So meaning they're going to be, what I gather from that at least, is they're going to have more supercomputers in the future, which is rather obvious because, I don't know, because they have like abilities and they're always going to want to keep the game fresh, so adding different supercomputers is pretty good. SCUs will sit in the pilot seat and each have 3 advanced programs that your robot that gives your robot special powers and can be used by pressing either 1, 2, or 3. So just some examples that they're working on currently. Nano Deny, which is one of the abilities that Cray has. Cray is an offensive robot focused on dealing damage and assassinating enemies. His Nano Deny beam, or beams a shaft of light down from the mothership onto a target, and places a field over them that denies them from being healed for a few vital seconds, it says. I'm guessing probably like somewhere around 3 seconds. Although that would be pretty good if you've got like a weakened bot and then a medic coming in to heal them. You throw down your deny and then you finish them off, then attack the medic, which would be pretty cool. Again, you can sort of swap. It's not like Cray has to be SMGs or Jean has to be nano disruptors. You could use anyone. Anyways, Fusion Disruptor. Tianhe, again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, is a support robot, and his Fusion Disruptor program creates a miniature fusion shield over an ally, protecting them for a few seconds. That's cool. Although, I don't know if that's going to be self-casting as well, which is what Jean's ability is able to do. Reset, Jean's ability. So it provides a more medic-like ability, even to robots who do not host nanodisruptors. Again, as I said, they're able to use any weapon of their choice. The reset program has a huge cooldown time, so it cannot be used that often. But it will regenerate 50% of an ally target's total health in 3 seconds, which is pretty crazy. Especially if you're a megabot, would be absolutely insane. And like I said, also has a self-casting function. Again, note these are just examples and not the final program design. So, just something to keep in mind. Advanced programs use energy and have a cooldown time, which limits their use. Some weaker programs use low amounts of energy and have a short cooldown time to balance them out against the more powerful programs, such as Jean's Reset. It seems to be one of the more powerful ones. Also, there is the HUD widget, sort of an actual visible representation of what it's going to look like in-game. In the bottom left corner, shows your health, which is awesome. I've always wanted a health bar, but it's taken until now. Also shows your name, your current supercomputer installed, and then your abilities as well. So each time your overclocker levels up, you will gain a advanced program point, which will be used to upgrade your upgrade or unlock an advanced program. You'll be able to choose which program you invest your AP in as the battle progresses, depending on how it's progressing. Okay. Yeah, so you can choose which one is more needed. So if you have a lot of medics on the team, maybe don't go for reset if you're playing Jean, for example. Maybe get that sort of later to... yeah, just later in the game, basically. Is what I'm trying to get at. Although I'm stumbling over my words, but, you know, that's just me, good old awesome soul. So the endgame battle comparison screen. At the end of the battle, this mock-up of the endgame battle comparison screen will appear. It shows you, or rather, it allows you to compare how you did in the battle versus other players. You will be able to click the headings at the top of the stats column to sort the list, and will be able to invite friends from this list also. So that's interesting. You can, like, maybe send friend invites to players who were good on your team. Could you also send them to opponents that, you know, you think did pretty well? That'd be kind of interesting. Later we may add ways to honor or report players, for instance. That's good. Kind of what Riot has in their games. Or game, rather. So, as I said before, the overclocker and AP resets at the end of every battle. So it's just a temporary thing. They're doing this in 3 launches. As they said before, they're rolling it out in steps, much like the Megabot thing. So, launch 1, in a few weeks' time, well, more like a month, rather. I guess a few weeks sounds a lot better. We'll be launching part 1 of this work. This launch will be titled Robocraft, Respawned and Overclocked, and will contain respawning, protonium crystals, fusion shields, overclocker, and the battle comparison screen. So that'll be kind of interesting for that first little while. You're going to get the overclocker, but none of the abilities. Or are they going to give 3 preset abilities that they just want to test out? That'd be interesting, actually. I wonder how they're going to do that. So anyways, launch 2, they're saying it's going to follow fairly quickly afterwards, which would be pretty cool, and include fusion towers, some team communication, such as pings, and cool voiceovers to understand what's going on in the battle. This is a godsend. Oh my god. Everyone I know wants this. Especially like a medic call button. I'm pretty sure that's like the most requested thing on the forums. I kid you not. Ugh. Anyways, so launch 3 will launch the 3 supercomputers, Clay, Tyhany, and Jean, also including their advanced programs. So that's cool. And in summary, no more losing battles due to luck. Half your team going in one direction and getting massacred, for example. Playing well for the whole battle will get you to win. The best teams with the best players will be able to win, so that's good. Real depth in the meta, allowing you to play over and over again without getting bored. So yeah, like I said, yeah, supercomputers are going to be really cool, especially if they keep adding more and more to the game. The meta takes a long time to master, so top players can become super pros at it. I believe they've always wanted to go down this road with their game. Wanted to make it like a really competitive esports type game. Which, originally I was like, how exactly are they going to do that? But seeing all this makes a lot of sense. After all that, so after the main release, the 3-step release that they've said before, ranked battles, which is for level 50 plus players only. That's like your actual, like the level up system they have now, basically. These battles will exclude megabots and are the pure competitive form of Robocraft. So, are they going to have every single tier still in ranked battles? Or are they going to only have it like 5 and up? That'll be kind of interesting, because everyone seems to say that Tier 1 and Tier 2 are basically the introductory tiers, and then from then on, it's the actual game. Although some people would argue it's Tier 5 and up, but yeah, I can kind of see that. Also, it's going to use an ELO ranking point system to sort of balance out player skill and get you to actually get matched up with proper people. So there's also going to be a online practice mode, which a lot of people have also been requesting. So there's 2 new online practice modes where users can practice together on our servers, which is pretty awesome. You'll be able to choose Unfriendly, where everyone else is red and an enemy. That's interesting. Or Friendly, where everyone is blue and non-destructible. So you can basically show off your art bots in that situation. So clans and clan battles, absolutely awesome. Can't wait for it. We want clans and clan battles like a 10v10. So clan versus another clan. So that'll be awesome. Robo Leagues. Seasonal leagues, so there's bronze, silver, gold, etc. They might change the names, who knows. So if you finish in the top 20% at the end of the season, you will be moved up to the next tier. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how well I'm gonna do, but I'll give it a try. So, tournaments. Top leaguers can enter robo tournaments. That's all they've really said about that. Gonna be interesting to what that is gonna entail. Is that gonna be like the super highly competitive prize pool type thing? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. And then to finish up here, we have the frequently asked questions. So how long are the battles gonna be? About 20 to 30 minutes. So that's interesting because they said at the 15-minute mark, the shield automatically goes down no matter what. Like, even if you've taken out... Like, even if you have all your shield generators remaining, your shield's going to go down at that point. So is it really going to take that long? I wonder. Anyways. Will I get more RP and tech points? RP and tech point rewards will increase so that you still earn tech points and robot points at the same rate as before. So basically it's going to scale up with the length of the match and obviously how well you do in the match. So what about AFK users? If you AFK, you will lose your reward. So that's interesting. So if you go into a match, you do well for the first like 12 minutes, and then you just AFK. You'd be like, oh, I'll be back later. So you come back 3 minutes later, and the match is over somehow. Although it says, you know, 20 minutes long, but anyways, just an example. So you come back then, and it seems like you're not going to get your reward if you go AFK, which, while I haven't really had too many problems with AFK players, I've had a lot of problems with players leaving as soon as the match starts. So, what about getting disconnected? We will allow your robot to remain in the battle, and you'll be able to rejoin the battle if it's still ongoing. Although they're going to implement that later because it's kind of tricky, as they say there. A big one, will this be a separate game mode, and will you keep the old meta as an optional game mode? I'm not going to read it out in full, but basically no. They're not a massive team, and they can't keep up with 2 metas at the same time. That'd just be a bit ludicrous. Anyways. What about challenge mode and mega boss mode? This is the most controversial part, and hopefully you understand the reasons why, but we need to lose these game modes. Me personally, I didn't really enjoy them that much. They were alright, but then the 4-hour timer was a bit annoying. You couldn't constantly do them, and then the other players would get dragged in when they obviously didn't want to get into a boss match, or some of them did, and then some of them didn't, and it was a bit of a mess. So what about Megabots? Megabots are still allowed in Tier 10 matches, but will respawn more slowly. I'm gonna guess maybe a double, or at least 1.5 times longer. But we'll see. Respawn more slowly and earn clock cycles more slowly. Megabots will be strong in the early game, weak mid-game, and insane in the late game if they can get their overclocker to level 13. As they said before, only really good players will be able to do that. We will allow weak Megabots into Tier 9, which they said they were going to do originally, but didn't. Anyways, so that'll be good to actually see them in Tier 9. And we will prevent Megabots from entering ranked battles, the ones that I talked about earlier, which are 50+. Megabots will be able to enter online practice modes, where we will likely allow a low level of RP farming. And also, they're doing a Reddit AMA at some point, so just check the forums for that. But this video has gone on long enough. This is probably the longest video I've made in quite a while. So yeah, give me your thoughts and opinions of the meta changes. I know this is definitely dragged on quite a long time, but I wanted to give my own opinions rather than just simply read off the news like a lot of people seem to do. It's not a bad thing. It certainly gives players who don't necessarily check the site but are subscribed to a certain YouTuber a chance to find out that there's this brand new news out. Anyways, guys, like I said before, this has gone on far too long. I've been the Awesome Soul. Thank you for sticking with me through this wondrous journey, and I will see you next time.